Hello everybody, today Hani is going to continue reading Wonka, inspired by Roald Dahl's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Chapter 20, 3 Letters. Delivery boy circled through the city street with a lumpy sack full of letters. On top of the pile sat 3 very special letters indeed. The first one was for Arthur Slugworth. Then when the boy screeched to a halt outside the gallery's gourmet, he rushed immediately to Slugworth's office and handed it to Miss Bonbon. Her eyes practically popped out of their sockets when she saw the stamp on it, and she ran as fast as she could, bursting through Slugworth's door. "Miss Bonbon," he cried, "don't you know how to knock?" He was lying face down on the message table as a massage pummeled his back. Miss Bonbon held the letter below his face. It was stamped with a golden, tinklingly swirly W. He leaped up and tore open the letter angrily, his eyes turning back and forth as he devoured the letter with a furious speed. "Dear Mr. Slugworth, last night you offered me a deal that I have decided to decline. I am, however, prepared to offer you a new deal. I will work for you and you alone. With your nose for business and my talent, we could work in other 2 members of your so-called kernel and split the profit in 2 ways instead of 3. Further up the street, the delivery boy was already at his next drop-off stop. To the tailor's. He plucked a letter from pile, folded the edges over, shaping into a paper airplane. Then, with impressive precision, he lobbed it through the window of the tailor's. It hit Fickle Glover square on his nose. "I'm being fitted for a suit, you peasant!" Fickle Glover cried out to the boy. He meant to throw away the letter, but something caught his eye, a glinting gold W. The message inside, though he didn't know it, the essential of the one Slugworth had received. The final letter was for Prodnose, but the delivery boy arrived at his residence. There was no answer at the door. He paused, looking for an open window to throw it into, but when he realized there wasn't one, he squashed the letter into a ball and gave it a kick so it sailed up to the roof, straight down the chimney. It fell perfectly, landing in the fireplace in the top-floor bathroom, where Prodnose happened to be luxuriating in an afternoon bubble bath. He reached out a soapy hand and grabbed the letter. "I will work for you and you alone." "Well, I'd like the sound of that," Prodnose said. "If you wish to discuss terms, to go to Hedgelich newsstand at 8:15. But this is where the letters were different. So Prodnose instructed to go on the newsstand. Fickle Glover was told to head to the Shoestine stall, and Slugworth to the old school. All at once, Prodnose leaped from his bed. Fickle Glover pushed away his tailor, and Slugworth called for his butler. "Tell Doveland to bring the car." In the zoo's security hut, the guard lay sleeping, having just consumed another party chalk. "Unbelievable," Abacus said as he stood over the unconscious man. "Isn't it?" William mused. He grabbed his keys to the truck, and the 2 of them hurried into the zoo and found Abigail. "It's a giraffe, Willie!" Abacus cried. "Were you collecting a giraffe?" "Morning, Abigail," Willie said. "How'd you like to earn a few more Acacia mint?" He gestured at a rickety Jew van parked by the entrance. "It will involve a little jaunt outside your enclosure, but I assure you it's quite safe. Nothing more than a mere caper." Across town, Lottie sneaked into the telephone exchange and waited. Meanwhile, Noodle had donned the shawl and was running through the pretty priest. She hurried up to him and tugged at his coat. "Couldn't spare a piece of chocolate for a starving orphan, could ya?" she rasped as she surreptitiously slipped something into his pocket. "I'm sorry, my child, I don't have any chocolate on me," the priest said. "Never mind," Noodle cried, and much to the priest's astonishment, the stranger skipped off down the street as if something wonderful had just happened. He didn't know what to make the usual sound, but he hadn't looked in his pocket. Chapter 21 Uncovering the Code. Prudence arrived promptly at the newsstand, his eyes greedily scanning the crowd for Willie. He was so engrossed for his search, he didn't notice the clown lumbering up behind him with a large horn. "Here we go!" Larry whispered nervously. He honked the horn as loudly as he could, but the nerves got better of him, and rather than a honk or two, he kept going. Honk, 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 honk. Proudness swung around. As he did so, Larry gave another big honk, and Proudness, a blast of air so strong it knocked Proudness wig clean off. "Oi!" Proudness cried. "What do you think you're doing?" He bent down to pick up the hair, but Larry got there first and shot off went around the corner. "Came back with my cat. I mean hair!" Proudness screamed and shot off after him. Larry stopped and thumbed the wig, his hands shaking. Inside, just as Willie had said, he found the numbers they needed. 642. He memorized them and then turned back to Proudness. "Hey, Paul," Larry said. "Got a leash on that thing?" Proudness tried to snatch the wig back, and Larry held it to him and whispered, "Willy Wonka says to meet him at the old copper mine." Then he melted into the crowd. Not far away, Fickle Rubber arrived at the shoe shine stall and looked around expectantly. His nose winkled in disgust at the sight of the grubby people in their neat, shining shoes. Piper looked up and flashed him a smile. "Shoe shine, Meister?" Fickle Grover nodded and sat on the steps, his eyes on the crowd as he looked for Willie. "You haven't seen a man dressed in plum tailcoat, have you?" he asked Piper. "No, sir," he said, lifting his shoe and making a note of the numbers on the sole. 273. Then she dropped up the polished rails to her feet and whispered, "Willy Wonka wants to meet him at the old copper mine." And before Fickle Grover could say anything, she turned it off. Finally, Saltworth was at the school as instructed. He stood inside, still as steady, like a statue of a great god. Larry approached immediately, confident with his last encounter with a chocolatier, and grabbed his hand. "Is that the incredibly famous Mr. Slugworth? I want those one-brushing business handshake everyone talks about." Larry chuckled as his eyes searching Slugworth's wrist for the watch. "Get off!" Slugworth shouted, snatching his hand back. Larry began to snake. There was no watch. "Something the matter?" Slugworth said. "Oh no," Larry said. "I just wondered if I could shake your other hand." He grabbed Slugworth's other hand. There was no watch there either. "Get lost!" Slugworth shouted, pushing Larry away. "Willy Wonka says to meet him at the old copper mine." Larry shouted in panic as he scurried off. He tumbled outside and bumped into Piper. "Get it?" Piper asked hopefully. "No!" Larry panted. "What do you mean, no?" Piper cried. Larry collapsed in a worried heap. He wasn't wearing a watch. Piper spied Slugworth storming out of the school, tucking a watch in his pocket. "He got on a chain. He has a pocket watch today," she cried. "Look!" Larry slapped a hand to his forehead. "Just my luck. What are you going to do?" Without a second thought, she cried. "Look!" Larry slapped a hand to his forehead. "Just my luck. What are you going to do?" Without a second thought, Piper charged off toward the chocolatier and raged straight into him. He slipped and skidded and spread his arm to steady himself. "What are you doing, you damn fool?" he bellowed, shoving her out of the way. She took a last look at the crowd and, accepting Willie wasn't there, climbed back into the car and sped off. "Well," Larry whispered as he sneaked over. "Did you get it?" Piper held up the pocket watch and smiled smugly. She noted the time. 8:16. The end.